why is it that only government workers, Commissioner, get a bailout? You know, why do you have to have a government check before Congress comes back from its recess to try to rescue your job? You know, what about Americans along Main Street who just want to go back to work, who've seen, gosh, some almost 3.5 million jobs lost along Main Street since the stimulus took effect? The only sector that's gained is the federal government. They've gotten jobs. Everyone else gets pink slips. What about the energy workers who are losing their jobs due to the drilling moratorium the President has in place today, and the small businesses that hire all the workers who supply those rigs? What about them? They're not asking for a bailout. They just want to go back to work. You've pointed out you don't know why manufacturing improvement is occurring, but other economists say that the balance of manufacturing has come from, one, restocking their inventories, about 60%, 59% of growth. The last 3 quarters came from restocking their shelves. The rest of it, the bulk of the rest of it's come from export sales to other countries, you know, none of which, you know, is created by the stimulus. And the manufacturing this week, we've lost since stimulus began 660,000 manufacturing jobs. The improvement this month, according to your numbers in manufacturing, comes mainly from autos. And according to your briefing, the majority of that is a seasonally adjusted situation where normally this time of year they're shutting plants down for retooling and maintenance. They did that earlier and had them actually operating. So even that's not as good news as we would like. So my question is, economy weakened significantly during the second quarter of this year. It's half what it was at the beginning of the year. Real GDP growth slowed to 2.4%. Last month, consumer confidence fell dramatically, the lowest it's been since February of last year. Since the housing tax credit expired, housing starts, existing new home sales are all down. Durable goods orders are down for 2 months in a row. We're all looking for positive signs, but do these weakening economic data indicate that job growth will slow and the unemployment rate will remain stubbornly high for the rest of this year? Do you see unemployment staying high through the rest of this year?
I wouldn't want to since we produced the data, I wouldn't want to speculate on what the data might show. So with respect to talking about the rest of the year, I wouldn't want to offer an opinion on that. But I can tell you that it is true that certainly the last 3 months there has been private sector job growth, but it has not been strong yet.
May I ask, the White House predicted that employment in construction, for example, would make up a major component of the total number of jobs created or saved by the stimulus. What change has occurred in the level of payroll employment in construction since the stimulus was enacted the February of last year?
We're going to have to look it up since February. I can tell you what I can tell you really quickly. We'll see if we can get the more precise number. Yeah, construction has continued to lose jobs. It's lost about this month it lost about 11,000 jobs, and I think over the last 3 months it's lost about 20,000 jobs a month. So we haven't had consistent job growth in construction lately.
Not job growth, we've actually had consistent job loss in construction.
Is that February of 10?
That's February of 09?
Yes.
He'll give you the number in just a minute if you want to go ahead and go on.
Let me ask, we've lost 660,000 jobs in the manufacturing sector since the stimulus took place. Retail trade, we were told if that massive stimulus was passed would be expected to see a large increase. Is that happening? Are we seeing large increases in retail trade? Because consumer confidence is very low, lowest it's been in a year.
Yeah, retail trade was not greatly changed this month. It grew about 7,000 jobs this month, and over the past 3 months we've averaged the loss of about 7,000 jobs in retail trade.
So it's consistently, like construction, losing jobs in retail trade.
Over the last few months, it has.
We were told that 90% of the jobs from the stimulus that were created or saved would be in the private sector. Is it true that the federal government's the only economic sector to experience payroll job growth since February of the stimulus last year?
Yeah, I think other than the healthcare sector, I do think the total payroll jobs have declined since February of last year.
In the private sector.
In the private
Federal
sector.
jobs, government job growth, though, is the only positive at this point.
I think healthcare and the government, I think that's right, since February overall.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate it.
Thank you. In terms of construction jobs that were saved,